That wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing in business and life, and you're open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a door grower. Door grower property managers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At Dorgro, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. So today I'm hanging out with Tom and Diego. Diego Alatorre, Alatorre?
Alatorre.
All right, I got it, sort of. All right, and Tom von Waelem.
Yes, perfect.
All right, you guys are stressing me out with these last names, man. These are not easy. All right, so it's good to have you both on the show. So Diego and Tom have this cool idea and business called Cavalry, and we'll get into that in a minute. And our topic today is how to improve maintenance processes at no cost ever. And this is something really unique. And I was like pretty surprised when they originally shared this idea with me, their business. And so we'll get into that. But first, let's get into some background between the two of you. How did you get into property management? And I think this will also help qualify you to the audience. So they go, all right, should I trust these guys with some maintenance stuff?
So actually, I could go ahead and get started and tell you a little bit about my background story.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting, Jason, because I was looking at your podcast and I saw that you did an interview with Pete Newbig. Pete Newbig was the owner of Empire. Sorry, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit nervous. It's the first time I'm doing a podcast.
You're all good. You're all good.
But so Pete Newbig was the owner of Empire, and he was talking about in your podcast that he hired 4 individuals, right? One of those 4 individuals that he hired, I was one of them. I started at the very bottom. I started as an assistant to a property manager. And from there, working at Empire, I started to learn that maintenance was a very big struggle. Most issues pretty much happened because of maintenance, right? Escalations, billing problems, you name it. And from that point on, I became a maintenance coordinator. I started to take a really big like at maintenance, and I started to understand and build processes and start to, find solutions on how to handle maintenance. So, and it really helped me because once Empire merged with a bigger property management company, I was able to utilize those same processes, that same structure, and we were able to implement it at a very big property management company. It had over 9,000 homes at the time, and so after we implemented that, it really helped that company grow because we were able to rebuild the entire company, and scale it. Maintenance was one of those things that was hindering that company from growing. And in less than 2 years, that company went from 9,000 doors to over 18,000 homes. And so after that, then I ended up leaving that company and I started to, well, first I was headhunted by a couple of property management companies that knew what I was able to do when it came to, to maintenance.
Yeah.
And so that's when I decided to start working at Austin Investors. I was able to do the same exact thing, which was implement, the maintenance knowledge, the processes, SOPs, systems. And we had a lot of success. We were able to help Austin Investors grow as well. And we were able to solidify the maintenance department. It was actually during that time that I went to I was at a conference with over 110 over 100 plus property management companies, and they were talking about their maintenance struggles and their maintenance issues and why they couldn't figure out how to handle it, from vendor relations, growing from 100 doors to 500 doors, and then how to handle maintenance, once you have 1,000 doors and so on. And that's when I realized that I had a lot of these answers that could help them with these maintenance struggles, right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened with my
Oh,
camera.
no, we can still hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. It might, reboot. I'm not sure what's happening. But anyways, so sorry about that.
That's all right.
So after noticing those particular struggles, that's when I realized that we could help multiple property management companies, and that was actually the same exact time that Tom approached me with the business proposition. And his business proposition, it went very well with the idea of helping multiple property management companies. So Tom, my business partner, he'll tell you a little bit more about himself and how we started our relationship. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, Tom, what did you think when you heard about some of the stuff that Diego had been accomplishing?
Yeah, crazy. I mean, when I approached him, so we were working, I was a roofing salesman at the time, and I was
Mm.
knocking door to door. There was just a big hailstorm that hit Austin and the surrounding areas. And I was knocking doors, helping people get insurance involved so they don't have to pay it out of pocket. And I
Yeah.
reached out to Diego with the hopes of, landing, a lot of inspections very easily without having to bother people knocking on the actual doors. So I reached out to Diego and I was like, hey, listen, I would love to inspect all of your roofs because I believe that we can save your homeowners a lot of money just simply by inspecting them. There's no, if I find damage, the homeowner doesn't want to continue, that's fine. At least the homeowner will know what the situation is with their roof. Okay. Diego said, wow, great. I've never heard about that. Let's do it. So we did the project, inspected 600 homes myself. And then after the project, we saved homeowners a lot. We replaced about 60 or 70 roofs. So
Mm.
that's a lot of money that we save because insurance claims, they have an expiration date usually,
Yeah.
depending on the insurance company. And anyway, after that project, I reached out to Diego and was like, hey, what do you think? Do you think other property management companies would do this? Or are you the only one who was willing to do this? Because it was a lot of work, right? And Diego was like, yeah, I think they would. But he said, you're forgetting about all the other trades. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, roofing is only about 10% of all the work orders.
Mm.
So you're forgetting about all this. And he said, and listen, I've been thinking about the same thing. And I believe that there's a way for us to provide excellent maintenance to all property management companies. And we can figure out a way for us to do it for them for free. And I go, how? And it was like, well, look, if we partner with multiple property management companies, and we get so much work, we can leverage that volume with our techs. So we reduce our technicians that we work with, we reduce their marketing and sales costs,
Mm.
and then they give us a percentage, which is much less than the marketing and sales costs. So the vendor wins, the homeowner wins because they don't get marked up. The property management company, of course, wins because they don't have to pay for payroll, and we win. So everybody really wins. And also, of course, the tenant wins because with our systems and our really well-trained people, we can actually provide great service, fast turnarounds, and all of that. Yeah.
All right. So I think we need like a break sound effect. Everybody listening is like, wait, whoa, what'd you just say? Like, that's like, sounds crazy. Could you take us back through that and help us make this make sense? So, because you're talking a little crazy here, like you can make maintenance more affordable and do it, and it would be free for them. And so let's break down the business model. So how does this work for a property manager?
All right. So when we partner with a property management company, we basically we can plug into their org chart wherever they'd like. So for example, we work with big companies and we plug in underneath their maintenance coordinator, right? So that maintenance coordinator, they have about 300-400 properties that they manage. We just plug in there. They become our supervisor, and we provide the maintenance coordinators. We provide the vendor network. We provide everything. So we handle the work orders from start to finish. And whoever is supervising us within the company is also the liaison with the higher up.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So for the smaller companies, for example, we would report to property managers. If a property manager is currently handling all of their maintenance themselves, they can just leverage our team. We have a specialized team with following the right processes. They leverage us and they just supervise us. They send us the work and they become a supervisor. It eliminates 90% of their work. Yeah, sure. You know, sometimes there's an escalation. It's still maintenance, but at least we can handle most of it. They get daily updates. Everything runs very smooth.
Okay. So property managers listening are like, yeah, but how's this free? Like, explain that again. Like, take us through. How is it possible for this to be free? Because they know you want to make money. This is a business.
Yes.
So how is it free? And if it's free, then are the maintenance costs being marked up expressly high, right? And so there's got to be a catch, is what they're thinking.
Yeah. So there's no catch. So the way it works is with our vendors, we send them a lot of work. That work means that they have less cost on marketing and sales department. Usually that's about 25 to 30% of their revenue.
Yeah,
right?
So let's explain this. So like if you're a vendor, you have to spend a lot of time trying to market. You're doing door flyers. You're like putting out mailers. You're like, they're wasting a ton of money. I get this stuff in the mail and it just goes right in the trash, right? They are going out on bids constantly, trying to give quotes, and they're not, none of this is making them money. This is all an expense. And so they're spending like a third of their revenue just to try and get customers.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so with select vendors, you're able to basically eliminate that expense.
Yes, correct. We cut it more than in half. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I mean that's a big savings for them. And they're not having to go out on bids. They're not having to like waste time. They're not having to with the property management company, they're not having to deal with a lot of headaches and garbage. They just have work. And that's really what they want to spend their time doing, is just doing the work. So this sounds like a nice selling point for these vendors and an incentive for them to work with you over maybe through you, rather than directly with property managers, or rather out in the marketplace with random homeowners.
That is exactly
it. And the really unique thing about this, Jason, is that it doesn't just save them money, right? And we don't just get the flat rate, or we don't just mark up. We actually save the owners money. Why? Because these vendors, they're so happy with the amount of work that we're sending them, that they also provide the best rates in the market, which are usually way below average. You know why? Because they want to be your number one go-to technician. You know, they want you to send as much work as possible, and so they're pretty much booked up. Most of the vendors that we utilize, they're pretty much booked up. And so they never want to, they don't want to lose that relationship with you, which, allows us to get better pricing for the owners, because that means we'll continue to get more work, we'll continue to get more business, which also allows the vendors that we work with to expand as well. We've had multiple vendors that started working with us in Austin, and they have expanded to Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. And it's really a win-win scenario for everyone, because vendors save money, owners save money, and property management companies don't have to pay any money when it comes to handling maintenance. They just have to have someone that oversees us.
Got it.
Okay. And I also would like to add in terms of pricing. So for example, because we handle so much volume, we actually have access to very good priced GE appliances. So your homeowner, well, the homeowners will pay around 15 to 25% less on appliances. That's black on white proof. You can check our price versus the store. And then also Goodman HVAC units. We have extremely good pricing. On a regular unit for a 2,400 square foot home, we save a homeowner easily $1,500 to $2,500 depending on who we compare it with. But those are things that we can actually prove black and white that we save money.
Yeah, awesome. So they're getting better rates on maintenance. They're not having to spend any money on doing that. They get discounted rates on appliances because of your buying power, and they get discounted rates on HVAC.
Yes, sir.
And not only
it's
that,
really a win-win. It's a true win-win for everybody. It really is, and it works. Yeah.
And you guys don't charge the property manager anything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. So because we have such efficient processes, we can provide a maintenance coordinator, a maintenance manager, a regional manager. We have vendor onboarding. We have tenant success and quality control. We have everything in place to manage, to function as a full maintenance department. And again, we just plug in right where you want it, underneath a property manager, maintenance coordinator. It doesn't matter. We just report, and that person becomes the liaison to the directors.
Got it. So you guys can be the entire maintenance department for a small manager. If a big company already has some things going that they really like and some team members that they really value, then you guys can just plug in and be the pieces that they still need.
Yeah, that's important to state. We don't want you to fire people. That's not our goal. What our goal is, though, is now those people who are already in place, they can focus on tenant relationships.
Yeah.
That is word to mouth
people
right there. Same thing with the homeowners. Now you're going to grow your business because you provide a better service, and you do not have to scale as fast. So even without firing somebody, you just keep those people. They give a better service. Now you grow, but you don't have to hire as fast.
Yeah, that's the one piece that's not scalable in a business is depth, and depth is where the magic happens. And I always say to my clients, if you want to scale your business, you have to do the things that are unscalable. And being able to spend more time talking directly with the owners, connecting with them, letting them know what's going on in maintenance, making them feel calm and that you've got things handled. Yeah, that interaction is what's going to retain those clients. I mean, the number one reason people leave property management companies and go find somebody else is communication. It's lack of communication. Yeah. So you can increase the communication level significantly so you keep these clients forever, and Cavalry can handle all the maintenance.
Correct.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild. Yeah, great.
Something so that I do want to mention.
This sounds like such a good idea. Why has nobody thought of this before? Why is no one else doing this?
Honestly, I think because it's hard. Maintenance is hard. And then not only that, but yeah, I don't know. If in maintenance, I guess you have to be a specific type of person, right? To be able to handle that. And then you need to match that with entrepreneurship, right? Mm-hmm. And most people, I think they have not seen the disconnect. It's within the culture, all maintenance is handled inside the company. So I think, I don't know if like a third company maintenance team has not come across. Also, all of our competitors, they charge. Why? Because they can. You know, we want to provide value. We don't have to charge. We can. We don't have to. Our service is worth the extra cost, but we don't want to. You know, we want we want the smaller companies and bigger companies just to be able to grow without an extra cost. And of course, by doing this, it's smart business-wise because now, you know, we can get our foot in the door more easily. So it lowers the barrier to entry.
Okay, so how small is too small of a company to work with you? Some people listening are like, man, this sounds like a great thing. Like, I don't really like maintenance. I don't have a maintenance coordinator yet. I would love to work with them. What's too small?
Honestly, I don't think there is a too small. And the reason, one caveat though. If we are already active in the market, all right.
Okay.
But if
So,
we,
and that's the next question then is there's certain markets you mentioned, around Austin, Texas, et cetera. Which markets are you in currently and what does it take for you to go into a new market? Like,
yeah.
so it's an option for people.
So we're currently in all Texas markets. So Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. We are very active in Denver, Colorado Springs. We have Tucson, Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit. So those are the markets that we're already active in. So it's easy to just add a smaller PM company because we don't need to set up the whole vendor network, right? Now,
Yeah.
if we're constantly tackling new markets, by the way. But if we
Yeah.
are in a market, if you're a property manager, you're watching this, and you're in a market that we are not in, we need about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. So 3 weeks.
Yes.
And how many units for a new market for it to make sense for you?
I think 250 would be the minimum. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right. So a property manager in a new market, if they've got at least 250 units, that could be it. If
Yeah.
there's some smaller ones, maybe they get together with their NARPM buddies and they're like, "Hey, let's get this,"
Yeah.
and they add up to 250. That could work.
Yeah, but also whenever we open a new market, for example, 250 would not be profitable for us. So then we just focus on these markets as well. So we have our sales team now has more to do. So
Right. So then you start to like build that market up.
correct.
Yeah, got it. And that builds up the business there, and that allows you to get the discounts and do all the good juicy stuff that you guys do.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. So, so you guys, this product sounds like a no-brainer, and so you guys must be pretty busy rolling out to new markets.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we started business when, Diego, on October 21st, 2022, we received our first work order, and now we're in, what, 12 markets already? So, yeah.
And it must, it sounds like Diego's a pretty sharp operator. So, like, the
Yeah.
systemization of being able to do these rollouts is probably pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Diego.
Yeah, so it's actually one of the things that I wanted to mention, Jason, because Pete Newbig actually, mentioned it in his podcast as well. It all goes back to systems, SOPs, and training individuals. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because a lot of people focus on churn when it comes to owner churn or
Yeah.
tenants leaving and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not that many people focus on your maintenance coordinator churn or your internal churn, and so that's one of the things that we like to focus on. You want to train individuals correctly. You don't just want to let their hand go and roam free and figure out things on their own. You want to take time to to teach them, to train them, for them to understand the guidelines, the SOPs, the structure, so that whenever we do fit in with a new property management company, they're ready to go. They understand the business, they understand the concept, they understand what is needed of them to make that maintenance department better. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to help property management companies grow, and so we can grow alongside them. And because that's what allows us to to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And so
Win-win-win.
it all goes back to that. Yeah, exactly.
So, Diego, having seen inside probably lots of property management companies' maintenance issues and problems, and having, and being able to brilliantly do it really effectively, and seeing that contrast, what are the biggest challenges that you're seeing or the biggest mistakes property managers are making when it comes to maintenance? And I think this is valuable because it helps people to understand how your brain works and how what you do at Calvary is a bit different than what they're doing.
I think it's a couple of things, but let me pick the top that come to mind.
Mhm.
I would say vendor relations. Vendor relationships are so important because what ends up happening is if you tarnish vendor relationships, what ends up happening, you don't have good, reliable vendors that you can count on, that will provide the best service, the best pricing possible. And so I feel like in this industry, a lot of companies have treated vendors poorly,
Yeah.
and we notice it constantly when we go to new markets. They usually mention like, "Hey, I don't want to work with a property management company." And then, you ask them why, and it's usually because of that. Building that relationship is very important because they're part of your group, they're part of your network. And once they see that, they're they're super reliable. They give you the best pricing, the best service possible, and so on. I would say that's number one. I would say number two is,
Before we move on
yeah.
from that one, like this is really interesting because we hear a lot in the industry is people complaining about their vendors. Like property managers are always complaining about their vendors, saying they're the problem, they're unreliable,
Yeah.
and having such a negative perception of the vendors. And they might be creating it.
Um,
Like, maybe
yeah.
the property managers are the ones creating this problem. They're, like, blaming them, but maybe they're not, like, paying them on time, or maybe they're not, like, being responsive in communication, or maybe they're treating them poorly if there's, like, an issue or a mistake or a challenge, right?
Or bidding
It
wars.
Yeah, bidding yeah, putting them into a bidding war, yeah, that none of them wanna be doing that, right? It's a big
Yeah.
waste of their time.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not saying all of them, all property management companies do that, but I would say most do have that, that
Mm,
they feel like they're entitled to get the best service instead of working together to build that relationship, to get the best service, to
yeah.
have reliable individuals. So I'm not
Mm.
sure what's happening with my camera, guys. It
It's
continues to
it's
come in and
alright.
out.
I've seen you enough that it counts, so
Yeah. Um, and then
so
the next. Oh, sorry, Jason. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. What's the next thing that you noticed in contrast between, the property managers that are ineffective with maintenance and dealing with issues versus how you do things at Calvary?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to the maintenance coordinators or property managers, right? Everybody is kind of doing their own thing, right? Which means, so I've gone to different property management companies and they're like, oh no, I do things like this because this is the way to go. This is how I've been doing it for so long. But if you have five property managers or if you have five maintenance coordinators, they're all doing their own thing. They're
Mm,
not all working as a group, towards the same direction.
yeah.
Which goes back to the structure, it goes back to the SOPs. And so I feel like not that many companies understand maintenance entirely, and so everybody's kind of doing a little bit different things, which is not scalable. You can't have five individuals working, differently, because then what's going to happen is you're going to have people frustrated saying, "Hey, but this person said I could do this, but now you're telling me I can't do this," and so on. So I think it also goes, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen going into different markets, different companies. Um, Everybody's doing their own thing, and
Mm.
so yeah.
So there's a lack of consistency and, yeah, I could see how that'd be frustrating for vendors too. If like a company had like 5 property managers, like bugging them portfolio style, and all of them are different. One of them might be a jerk to the vendors, another one might be cool, and so they're like, yeah, it could be messy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then last but not least, numbers, KPIs. They never lie. And so if you have maintenance service requests that are taking too long, well,
Mm,
tenants are going to be frustrated. Owners are also going to be frustrated. Why? Because most of the time, especially for small property management companies, the tenant has the owner's phone number most of the time, or I've seen that happen many times. So what they
mm,
will do is they will reach out to the owner and they'll be like, "Hey, they're lagging on this. They're not taking care of this. Hey, I'm having an issue with this." And so if you don't take care of things in a timely manner, it's always going to affect your business.
yeah.
And so I've seen where, you know, some clients, they're okay with taking 14, 15 days to handle a maintenance request. And that's a big no-no. You want things taken care of in less than 5 days. That should always be the goal. If it's an emergency, you want to handle it same day, or at least mitigate the issue that same day, so that the
Yeah.
tenant is happy, so that they trust in the service that you're providing, and that will allow you to dictate how you run your maintenance department and how um, tenants are trustworthy of your services. And then, of course, that owners are also going to be happy with the services that you're providing, since you're not going to have that many escalations, that many issues, or that many problems that surface. So
Yeah, it seems like kind of a snowball effect that, when you start to be inconsistent, you don't have, a quick enough turnaround time on maintenance. You've got, all these challenges. It starts to then turn into escalations, more conversations. Owners might even be getting involved. And so it starts to get messy. And that complexity then takes over the business, because then something that should have taken maybe an hour is now taking 3 hours of manpower and time in the business. And so then it's like the business owner is trying to run a race and they're shooting themselves in the feet, right? So things are just like snowballing and getting worse and worse and worse. And then they're like, this is chaos. This is crazy. Yeah. So,
yeah,
all right.
I
So
actually,
for those that are dealing with these challenges, they're like, maintenance is tough, like vendors are tough, like these are problems, and they don't have all this stuff dialed in. Or maybe they've got things pretty well dialed in, but they're like, hey man, maybe I could save some money on, you know, you know, team, or I could just improve and get my team focused on higher level tasks of like communicating with people more depth and retaining clients longer. What would be the first step? How do they connect with you?
well, to reach out to us,
Yeah.
you mean? Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So they can pretty much, reach out. We could set up a meeting where we can go ahead and explain, go a little bit further in depth with their particular property management company, how many homes they have and so on. And then and pretty much, if they do sign up with us, in 7 days, we'll have a plan ready to go for them
Okay.
that will dictate exactly, what is needed and what we're going to be implementing within those 7 days, so that we're ready to hit the ground running on day one that we take over. Um, and so, is that what you were referring to,
Yeah,
Jason? Sorry.
that's pretty awesome. And so what's kind of the onboarding process like for those that would be getting started? What's sort
Tom,
of the experience?
Tom, if you
Oh yeah,
wanna
yeah.
take this one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have a 2-week process. So it starts by sending over the contract so they can read it over. It starts by also getting all of the data of the units they currently have, their history of the history of the work orders, also their current vendors. Very important. We understand that property management companies, most of them have already built solid relationships with those
Yeah.
vendors. We don't want them to push them out. No, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to contact those vendors. We're going to propose our proposal, and we're going to tell them like, hey, you will get more work, you know, by also getting work from other property management companies.
Okay.
So yes, so we can use the same vendors as well. So we collect all of the data, then we analyze the data. We implement everything into our software. This is something we actually haven't touched on, but we have found that Renfine is a really, really, the best software out there, and we're
Okay.
actually also providing that for free to our clients. So we can, we can work with any software,
Yeah.
but if we do not have one, we can work with Renfine. Anyway, so that is also part of that onboarding process. Maybe
Cool.
like, okay, what software do you use? Do you want to switch to Renfine? And then over the second week, we start implementing. We have a few meetings where we discuss all the final, like the communication with the billing department, who's going to take care of that. Is that going to be the liaison? Is that going to be somebody of ours? So yeah, it's a 2-week process. We have everything dialed down from launch date minus 14 days to launch date.
And the reason you like Rentbine, do they have a pretty good maintenance
Yeah,
system? Is that why?
communication is excellent. The communication can be logged with timestamps, but more importantly as well, it aligns very well with bookkeeping. The
Mm.
bookkeeping is really solid in there, and it just works. Renvine is really bad, but it's also the most expensive. It comes at $2.50 per unit per month. Yeah.
So, what about those that have different maintenance tools? Like maybe they've been using Latchel and they've got them handling the phones, or maybe they've been using Property Meld and they're using that text-based communication system. Are
Yeah.
these things that they need to keep? Are these things that you would work with? Like this adds a whole nother level of complexity, I would imagine, to your business.
Yeah, no, it actually, I mean, it works. So we started, so to get our foot in the door in the industry, we actually started as a vendor, right? So our systems are work with any software.
Okay.
So it does work. It adds complexity, yes. But if we assign a certain maintenance coordinator to a certain account, they get used to that very fast. So
Mm.
so it does work. Yeah.
Got it. So you
But
can
we
work with whatever tools that they do have, and if not, you've got some good ideas for them to get their maintenance systems dialed in well.
correct. Yeah. Correct.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, so that actually brings up a really good topic. So we can help them save money because most property management companies, they utilize, for example, Property Meld, right? And that's an external tool to their actual software, which is usually Appfolio. And so they usually pay extra for per property for Property Meld. If they switch over to Rentvine instead of Property Meld, then we pay for that, and it's completely free for them. So that means they save money there as well, and pretty much Rentvine can do what Property Meld does. And one of the
Cool.
reasons why people choose Property Meld is because of the communication, and
Mhm.
Rentvine has a very good communication factor built into it. But it goes a little bit further um, when it comes to the, like Tom mentioned, the billing processes, because vendors can go ahead and submit the bills there, and you can break down all of the information there, which fits in perfectly to the tool that the property manager is using. So it allows us to have a very robust system that allows
Yeah.
property managers, to save money by choosing to work with us. So
Yeah.
So the more you share, the more stupid people might feel for not working with you
I
is
have
kind
one
of the
more.
punch here. Oh boy.
24/7 maintenance.
Okay. Wait,
Yes.
say that again?
24/7 maintenance. So rather than paying an external company for a call center to, receive phone calls from tenants,
Yeah.
we actually have a night crew that will pick up the phone and also dispatch those work orders for work orders, of course, that are dispatchable at night, right?
Yeah.
For certain emergencies. So we have a team working around the clock. The night team is a little bit smaller, but it's around the clock.
That's amazing. So, yeah, because I know there's companies that are using Appfolio, they're using Property Meld, they're using maybe Latchel or Easy Repair Hotline or something to do the calls. And these are all stacking as expenses in the business. And then they're also having to coordinate all of the maintenance
Yeah.
and go and source and find all the vendors. And you're saying, we'll just take over all of this for
Yeah.
you and it'll not cost you anything.
Yep.
exactly.
It works. It works.
So, all right. So, a lot of people might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. So, let's say I sign up with these guys and I switch all my stuff over to using them and then I don't like it, or there's something like they're afraid, right? This is their fear. And I've given everything to them. Are they going to have some benefits still? Like, will they have better processes? Will they know what's going on? Like, how do we lower this risk for those that are like concerned about handing over a piece of their business to somebody else? And then what if it isn't good? Like that's their fear.
Yeah. So part of our marketing strategy and part of our vision and mission is to share all of our information. So we're not going to keep everything to ourselves. we're actually in the process of writing a book, which will be finished very soon, on how we actually do the maintenance. So it's one thing saying, oh, we know how to do it. It's another thing showing it. And that's what we're going
Mm.
to do. So we have the processes. We can share that with the teams. If we're hopping on a call, we can share what that is. But also to make it available to the public, we've written a book. It's almost finished, which holds all of our processes in a story form, which then is connected to presentations and actually implementable knowledge. So
Wow.
property managers, if they don't want to work with us, fine, we will still teach you how to do it. That also means that,
Like you're open sourcing
yeah,
your product.
it is the 2023 way of marketing, right? You show what you can do and then
Yeah.
you build the trust. So, but that's really, and it's also to help people. Many property management companies might not want to do this, and that's totally
Mm.
fine,
Yeah.
but we can still help those people.
Cool. Well, I mean, if things go well for you guys, which it sounds like it will, because it's a pretty sharp product, there might be the day when people are wanting Calvary doing the maintenance and not local property managers handling it. So
That's our vision.
cool. So, well, awesome, guys. I think this sounds like a no-brainer. Sounds like a really awesome product. I'm really excited to see what you guys do. And I'm sure there's several that are interested in, just once they hear this podcast episode, they'll be interested in giving you guys a shot, because maintenance is one of the biggest complaints we hear about in the industry. It's usually the first big challenge they all need to solve. And it sounds like you guys have got the product where it's solved.
Yeah.
And they can just get some Calvary and everything's going to be better. So
Yeah. So our website is cavalry.works. That is Cavalry, CAVALRY.WORKS, because Cavalry works.
got it. Okay, cool. So check it out, everybody. So anything else you want to say before we end the show today?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to come and present us. It was our first podcast. I hope we did a good job.
Great. Diego's camera's a little crazy, but it kept us on our toes. So
yeah, it did.
Man, I'm really impressed with you too. I know we met earlier and chatted, and I was like, this sounds like such a crazy good business model. And I think it's possible because of the expertise that you both have and that you're able to bring to the table. And excited to see about that when that book comes out. Maybe we'll have you come on again and you can plug that book. That would be really cool. And then, man, Diego, I'd love to have you come and maybe present to some of our clients in our mastermind just about maintenance, because this is everybody has this challenge, and I think it'd be really cool. So. All right. Well, looking forward to hanging out a little bit more with y'all and seeing what you guys accomplish. So,
all right.
Thanks for being on the Door Growth Show.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. Cool. So if you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, grow your business, and you are struggling with getting more business and getting more doors, we can help you with that. And we are really good at helping people grow. One of our clients, brand new, 0 doors, went through our rapid revamp class that we teach in our mastermind, had 0 doors. And then after we cleaned up the front end of his business, he started working on adding doors part-time, like maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. And then he was able to add and break 100-door barrier. He was able to add 100 doors in 6 months. And he was doing this part-time. That would be impossible with advertising. That would be impossible with going and buying cold leads from doing SEO or pay-per-click or content marketing or social media marketing. We gave him the right strategies. He went and took action, and he spent less time doing it than most people do. And he was able to add than most people do trying to grow their business. He was able to add 100 doors in 6 months. That was what our client Kent, who we just recently had on our podcast episode. And if Kent can do it, you can do it too. And our clients can add 100 to 200 doors every year organically just by using our strategies. If you have a really good full-time BDM, we can help you add 200 to 400 doors a year organically. And then we can also get you the right processes and the right systems and things dialed in so that you become infinitely scalable. And then you can start to do acquisitions, and you will make a lot more money off their doors than the person you're buying them from was. So, so anyway, reach out to us at DoorGrow. You can check us out at doorgrow.com and join our free Facebook group. You can get access to that. We have some free gifts for you by joining our community. Go to doorgrowclub.com. This is just for property management entrepreneurs, property management business owners. Join that community. If you're starting a property management company, join that community. If you have an established company, join that community. People are helping people out in that group. It's an awesome community, and our hope is that you will get so much value from the free stuff that we put out there and from our free content and our podcast that you will want to join our mastermind, get beyond the paywall, and see the amazing stuff that we're helping companies do and be part of an even more amazing community, our mastermind. So until next time, to our mutual growth, bye everyone.